Hey everybody, Sarah here. Sorry about the slight blue tint to this video. If I just leave it on the telly, it'll go like dark and whatever, depending on what's on the screen. So I've got like the sky thing on, and my internet's playing up as I'm recording this. So I'm not actually sure when this will get uploaded, but I'm recording it on Monday the 11th of December. Um, yeah, because the internet's playing up, like none of the pictures are coming up, which would give it like a more normal color to this video. Yeah, so this video, um, I can't even remember what I said in my last video. Oh, last episode, Doctor Who, the second episode of the special Doctor Who. So I was like, I'm looking forward to the. I think I said I'm looking forward to the episode, but I am dreading the regeneration. Um, yeah, that is how I was. Um, and I was, oh yeah, and I was said I was going out, so I'd have to wait until I got back. That changed. I didn't end up going out, so I got to watch Doctor Who when it was on. Um, yeah, so all the night before, the Friday night, and then on the Saturday, I was like, I'm not looking forward to this episode. I'm like, I mean, I'm looking forward to the episode, but I'm like, I can't handle another. Not, I can't handle another regeneration. I can't handle another David Tennant regeneration because I was fine with Matt's. I was fine with Peter's. I was definitely fine with Jodie's because I had the feeling she was changing into David, so that's why I was fine with Jodie's. But when it comes to David Tennant, yeah, I'm. I'm a fan of Doctor Who anyway. But when people criticize Jodie's episodes, I'm like, you just don't like it because she's a woman, probably. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, yes, I'm a David. I'm gonna say I'm a David Tennant fangirl because I am. I'll watch anything David Tennant's in. I probably haven't seen everything he's in at this point, but if I can get my hands on something to watch of his, I will. Yeah. So what um like I said, I'm a David Tennant fangirl, but I'm a Whovian. I mean, I'm literally going back to watch William Hartnell all the way through to David Tennant. Um, well, I say shooty, but actually, God knows to be the Doctor by the time I get through all the other Doctors. I mean, it might not even be shooty at that point. I mean, so many episodes I need to get through. Um, yeah. So, as I said, wasn't looking forward to Regeneration. The end of Time one was hard enough. Actually, to be fair, the one in what was it? Stolen Earth. I remember that one and thinking, they haven't announced he's leaving. No. Yeah, they hadn't at that point. They hadn't announced anything about him leaving at that point. So when he started regenerating in that episode, I was like, what? And then it was to be continued. You didn't even know until like the following episode. So I was for the whole week I was like, can't change. And then end of time, yeah, that was oh god. I literally there was a clip of that scene. I still couldn't. I still had to look away as he burst into regeneration energy. I still can't watch that. Um, I mean, I should be able to now because I know he comes back as a doctor. But um, I was just about to say, yeah, spoilers. But people know David was back anyway. So, all right, there's going to be spoilers in this video. So if you haven't seen the episode, don't listen to the rest of this video. And I mean the episode called get my words out, called The Giggle. If you haven't seen it yet, don't carry on watching this episode. Yeah, so I should be able to watch that regeneration scene, but yeah, I still can't watch it. Um, yeah, so knowing there was another regeneration coming up, I was like, how many people have to deal with a regeneration of their, a regeneration or their favorite actor or favorite doctor regenerating into somebody else twice? Not many people have to do that. Um, yeah, so I was anxious. Um, I was so anxious. I was like, oh my God, I have to read some of the speculation now to calm myself down. And then there was all sorts coming up, but there was this one thing that kept popping up, and I was like, that's not going to happen. Even though people were saying it was leaks, I was like, that's not going to happen. I got building my hopes up for that to happen, and then it doesn't happen. Um, yeah, so even though I was like, oh, yeah, that could happen, in the back of my head, I was like, don't build your hopes up on that because it could end up being like, yeah, that was just a whole lot of lies. That's going to happen. Like, what you think's going to happen is going to happen. It's not going to be what you've been reading. So I was like, that was in the back of my head. Don't build your hopes up. Um, yeah. So yeah, we get to the episode. Um, as I said before, I'm not going to go in every single bit in this episode. I'm just going to certain bits. All right. So I was slightly confused because obviously there were pictures, and in the background you could see this redhead. People were like, "That's Mel," as in Bonnie Langford. And the more I looked at it, the more I was like, "Man, that does look like Bonnie Langford," but it wasn't a clear picture of her. Then there was like when they were filming Doctor Who, and there was that video of where you could hear, I was gonna say Donna and David then, Catherine and David, well, or the Doctor and Donna talking, coming out the TARDIS, and then mentioned Mel. Um, so I was like, yeah, she's probably gonna be in that episode. But then Bonnie Langford was on about she was in um she was in it with Shooty, as in a new series, but she wasn't mentioning anything about being in the specials. So then I was like, all right, is she actually in it? Is it somebody else, another Mel that the Doctor and Donna are talking about? Yeah, so then in this episode, I didn't I didn't hear it straight away. I think I was too focused on David, the Doctor, I mean. Um, so I heard this, well, listening back, I heard the voice and I was like, oh yeah, you hear a voice there. But it was like she says, this is yours or something like that. And he doesn't even look, and he turns and he's like, I can't even remember exactly what he says now, but it's like, Mel or Melanie or no, it was Melanie said, I think. Um, yeah, so and what threw me as well when I can't even remember where I read it now. It said something about her being the Power Doctor. I was thinking, when was she in the Power Doctor? I was thinking there was Tegan, there was Ace, there was Peter Davison, there was Sylvester McCoy, there was uh oh gosh, I can't think of his name. David Bradley. There was um Colin Baker, and there was what's this Sylvester McCoy? Um, Paul McGann. And I was like, where was Bonnie Langford in that episode? I could not remember. And then I was like, oh, it was right at the end, like with, well, not right at the end, because that was Judy and David's part of it. You know, the bit where they were at the companions anonymous thing. And I was like, oh yeah, she was there. I don't know how I forgot that. But I was like, yeah, she was in the Power Doctor. Um, yeah, so there was that. And then there was a few bits in there when you see David's face or the Doctor's face, and you like see him, um, like he's, oh my, it's just his voice when you think he's gonna cry. That happened a few times in an episode, and I've watched reaction videos where people are like, "Don't cry, David. Don't cry, David," because if David Tennant cries, it starts me off, or even if he looks like he's going to. Um, yeah. So, um, what was there? A few bits there. Where I was like, "Yeah, don't cry," because I don't want to cry. At least not yet. That's gonna happen near the end. Um, yeah. So there's a whole bit where they were like at the toy shop. Yeah, and then they ended up at. You can see I'm jumping about, not jumping about here, but I'm like skipping bits here. But I'm getting to the bits that like I'm going to talk about anyway. Um, yeah, so they get back to Unit HQ. I was going to say Unit Tower then, because it is like, as people have been saying, it's like the oh god, like the Marvel Tower or whatever they call it. Um, yeah, so they get back to Unit HQ, and then well, not straight away, but when they do get back there, I was it was funny because I was like obviously listening to like David and Kate, David and Kate, the Doctor and Kate, and Mel and Donna and whoever else were talking in this scene, and then I was like, why can I hear "Spice Up Your Life"? I was like, why are they playing Spice Girls? And then the toy maker turns up and like dancing to Spice Girls. And I mean, I was a big Spice Girls fan back in the 90s. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not as big a fan now, but imagine I still was. And I'm watching my favorite TV, one of my favorite TV shows with, yeah. So there was all that. And then he like disappeared. The toy maker disappeared. And then they saw he was out by the laser, I would say cannon, but it's not cannon, like laser, whatever it is, out on the helipad thing of this um say Marvel Tower, then what's it called? Unit HQ Tower. Um, and yeah, I remember seeing that bit in the trailer, like he's sitting on this thing where you can like shoot this laser thing. So obviously the Doctor is trying to reason with him and all that, and then he like turns the thing around. And he's like pointing at Donna, then Kate, then is it Shirley? I think it is Shirley, the one in the wheelchair. Yeah, I think it is Shirley, and then Mel. Um, and then he points it at the Doctor. And then he shoots the Doctor with it. And I'm like, whoa, 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 hang on. It's like 15, 20 minutes before this program's supposed to finish. What are you doing? You can't have him regenerate like 20 minutes before the end. 5 minutes before, not even 5 minutes before the end, is it? When somebody regenerates, it's normally like 2 minutes. It's literally the regeneration, a line, and then it finishes. So I was like, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And and literally, I mean, I went from like that watching it to like I can't even remember if I was like that, but I mean, I literally had tears in my eyes. So I was thinking, oh my God, it's here already. The regeneration is here already. So even though I was like in the back of my head thinking, is this um what's the word, leak true, and is it going to happen? I was I had tears in my eyes thinking, oh my God, this regeneration is going to happen now, and I'm not ready. So my head was, I was like, red. No, I don't know. I can't even describe it. How do I describe it? Um, as much as I thought this rumor could be true, I think it was like 25% I thought it was true, 75% I didn't. So when like he got shot, I was like, no, I'm not ready to say goodbye to David Tennant. Yeah, so that bit happened, and then even in that trailer, when you see that bit, like I had tears in my eyes. I don't know why I am now. I've seen the bloody episode, but yeah, and yeah, like fell to his knees, and then obviously the regeneration energy like starts to appear. I mean, I thought that was quick. When you think, okay, it was pretty quick, Chris into David, David into Matt. I mean, he literally went around seeing like Sarah and Rose and Donna and Wilf and Martha, and I can't even think whoever else now. And there was no regeneration energy then until he like got into the TARDIS after seeing Rose. Matt, that was kind of like he kind of done that whole big regeneration thing. Then he went back to the TARDIS, still looking like himself, and then he suddenly like changed without all the regeneration energy. So that was like, yeah. Um, Peter's one took a while, and Jodie's one. I mean, she literally had a hand glue in while I was my script. So yeah. So when he like it was that quite quick with the regeneration energy starting, I was like, oh God, you're not even gonna like last 15 minutes like this. Yeah. So like I said, he's there on his knees, and then like Donna's like, I'm gonna be here for him, and Mel was like, so am I. And I was like, oh, I can't handle this. Um, and then oh yeah, and then obviously there's this whole thing like, what's his last word gonna be? Last word, his last line gonna be? And what did he say? He said, did he? I can't remember if he said it's time, and then did he say here we go again? I mean, that's making me think of Mamma Mia now. I'm sure he said here we go, or here we go. Maybe not here we go again. So I would have thought Mamma Mia at that point. But he definitely said it's time. And then I think he said here we go. So I thought that was his last word, last line. And then oh God, and then he went and said Allons-y. So I was like, oh God, if that's his last word of his last line, of course it'd be his last word. So I was like sitting there like, oh, I can't watch it. Well, I mean, I'm watching this, but I was literally like that, or however I was sitting. I can't even remember how I was sitting, but it was something like that. I definitely had my hands on my head somewhere. Um, yeah. So obviously start. Well, the energy starts like getting more and more and more, and then disappears. And I was like, as I've seen in other reaction videos, I was like, what? But when that happened, then I was like, oh my god, this rumor is actually happening. And then he was like, I need you to pull. And I was like, well, I was like, Don, I was like, want me to what? Oh, you want them to what? Um, yeah. And then like obviously they both pull, and then like David's there and Shooty's there, and yeah. So we literally had two doctors right pretty much up until the end. Um, oh yeah, and then Shooty, oh not Shooty, oh my god, this is confusing now. Fifth, the 15th Doctor, Shooty, um, said to Mel, um, I can't remember if he said, how do I look? 'Cause that makes me think of David back as the 10th Doctor. He said whatever he'd said to Mel, and then she said, beautiful, or you look beautiful, or something like that. Um, and David's like, oh, David's doctor is like, still beautiful. And I was like, exactly what I would have said. Um, and then Donna's like, can you come in any color or something like that? See, I can see people, some people, or maybe not regular people, that sounds odd. Regular viewers, you know, the usual Doctor Who viewers, I can see them thinking that's a bit like making that comment. But if you're a fan of Doctor Who, you would know that Donna's husband is the same colour as Ncuti, as is Donna's daughter. So if anybody, I know it won't be a big Doctor Who fan, because obviously they would know. But if somebody had just seen that clip, I could just imagine there being YouTube videos or a video of that clip, of that scene, and there'd be people saying, "Oh my God, how could she say something like that?" Because they haven't seen it, because it's out of context for them. I can just see that happening. That's what I thought when I heard that. It was like, some people are going to see something about that. As they've said about all the other bits in these specials, because they think it's too woke. Um, yeah. So get past that bit. Oh yeah, and then the hug with 14 and 15, and the 15 kissing 14 on the head. I mean, I can't say the Doctor has kissed himself before. I don't think. Um, I'm just trying to think of somebody, a Doctor Who actor playing opposite another Doctor Who actor who's played the Doctor, but I don't think they have. Um, yeah, yeah, so got to that bit. Then there's a whole split in the TARDIS. No, when they're in the TARDIS, and then Donna's like saying about coming home. And oh my God, David! Then even then he was like, I thought he was going to cry, and I was like, don't do that. You're not actually regenerating. I should be happy, but you're still trying to make me bloody cry. And yeah, he's like, it's too, I'm not gonna be able to let go of the TARDIS. And then Shooty's doctor was like, managed to make two of them. Um, what else was there? Yeah, and then like when he's like, come on, old man, you need to get out my thing. He's like, you're the old man. I'm younger than you. You came after me, or from me. Um, yeah. So, oh yeah. So then Donna, um, doctor. Oh, too many doctors in this episode. Well, there's only two doctors in this episode, but David's doctor then is at home with Donna and her family, and like his niece Rose. Um, I love the fact that he called Donna he called Rose his Rose Noble his niece. He called Donna his best friend, which, yeah, she is. But then he calls Sean his brother-in-law. So I was like, so she's pretty much his sister. Who else? The Sylvia was the evil stepmother, which, to be fair, she has slapped him definitely once. I'm trying to think if she did when he was 10. I can't remember. And Matt was it Mad Auntie Mel. And then the one about Wilf. Although what was it bugging me is that he called him Granddad. Why did you call him Wilf? He'd been calling him Wilf for ages. So why? I mean, I know it technically wasn't Bernard Cribbins in that episode. It was like a stand-in, so that's why they weren't showing him. But you could have called him Wilf because that's, you know, I when he was 10, it wasn't um Granddad every time he saw him or whatever, or every time he's talking, he would always say Wilf or Wilfred or whatever. I mean, even when Bernard was in the last bit of the second special, he didn't call him Grandad or Grams. He called him um, Wilf or Wilfred Moss. So I was like, why did you just call him Grandad in this? Yeah. And so he's on about you shooting moles, and he said, "Don't worry, I'm giving the moles force field. I love them all." I was like, okay. Yeah, so then after that bit, then they were showing like, oh, you see the TARDIS in the background, so it does get used. And then obviously it went to Shooty, and then Destination Christmas. Um, yeah, there was something. What was the other thing I was going to go back to? Oh yeah, there was when they like split. It was like, oh, you see what David was wearing like through the whole episode, like the the shirt, the tie, the vest, like the waistcoat. Um, oh, the shirt, the tie, the waistcoat. Every time I mention waistcoat, I just have Gareth Southgate in my head. Um, who else? Or what else I should say? The trousers. Um, and the Converse. Um, then when they split, you see Shooty with the shirt and the tie and the Converse. I didn't notice if he had socks on, but he definitely had the Converse on and no trousers. Which a few people were like, is he not wearing trousers or something like that? But then I was like, but David's still got a shirt on. But I realised that was probably like he had probably had a shirt or a t-shirt underneath the shirt. Yeah, so he didn't have a tie. He had this shirt that must have been under the other shirt. He had the trousers, and he was barefoot. And I've heard people saying like at least 14 is wearing socks, whereas 10 wasn't. Because like when 10 pulled off his Converse in Smith and Jones, he didn't have socks on. And people saying about he had socks on like as the 14th Doctor, and I was like, well, unless they had just happened to be what went over to the 15th Doctor with the Converse, I don't know. But yeah, but then somebody was like, well, I didn't think at that point, but now I've been thinking too hard about if David's got the trousers and Shooty's got the boxers, what is David wearing underneath the trousers? Because Shooty's doctor's got the boxers. And not only that, I never really thought about what kind of underwear the doctor was wearing before, but now we know he wears boxers. Um, well, it looked like it was boxers anyway. I was not looking too closely. I was looking at David. Um, but yeah, I didn't even think about that like whole thing about what was under the trousers until somebody mentioned it somewhere, and I was like, okay, I didn't think of that, but now I just can't get it out of my head. Yeah, so I'm kind of like happy that I didn't have to deal with regeneration. It was a bi regeneration. No, it wasn't a bi regeneration. It was a bi generation. Um, Hang on, did I mention a bit where they're throwing the ball about? And David, the first one, David like has to catch, and you just see his hand come up, and then Shooty's doctor threw it to David, and David was like, "Hang on," or you, or whatever it was said. I'm on your side, or you're on the same side, or something. He's like, sorry. Yeah. What else? I don't think there's anything else I was going to say. Um, yeah. So I'm glad I didn't have to deal with a regeneration. It's just stuff. I mean, I would have been like probably close to tears making this video if the regeneration had happened, having to go through it again. But the fact I'm like totally calm, even though I know David's not going to be in like the next episode. Although, is there going to be a spin-off? Even if there's a spin-off for Unit and Donna's working a Unit because what's her name? Kate said about the thing, said, oh, 125,005 days holiday or something. And she was like, you know, deal or something like that. So if there's a Unit spin-off and Donna's in it, or Catherine's in it as Donna, could we see some David? I'd be just so happy if, or even if it was a spin-off of the two, because they've got a TARDIS. Well, they 14's got a TARDIS, so yeah. So the fact he's like out, there's literally two doctors in the universe, rather than, I mean, technically there's always more than one doctor in the universe, but then there's different timelines. But this is literally the same timeline. So it's just weird. I'm just more calm than I would have been. Um, yeah. Anyway, so I will see you in my next video, and this will go up whenever it goes up because, like I said, I have no idea when my internet's gonna come back on. Hope we get sorted out soon. It should be, but yeah. So I will see you in the next video, which might be when on Thursday if this has gone up by then. Otherwise, yeah. I'll see you in my next video anyway. So I'll see you then. Bye bye.